Hi and welcome to Speak on Stage. My name is Dave Crane. I have brought my mini-me. This is Maya, my gorgeous little girl.
Hi,
Hi, how you doing? And Maya is how old are you?
I'm 9, almost turning 10.
I knew that. I was just asking because she knows better than me. Today's show is all about female empowerment. It's all about why women make better leaders than men would. If you don't believe me, have a look at the holding screen. This is our thumbnail for today. Why women make better leaders. And I'm going to throw Maya straight in at the deep end by asking a question. Do you think girls are better than boys?
Depends.
On what?
Depends on what you mean as in that. Like,
Right.
like what kind of thing is girls better than boys?
Okay. Go on. Okay. Do girls make better decisions than boys do?
Sometimes.
Okay. Are girls better at getting on with people than boys are?
Not really, just depends who it is.
Okay, you're on the fence for everything. So here's another question then. Do you think that the person who's in charge of a country should be a woman or a man?
I think that should be a woman, actually.
Why?
Because now that we're in quarantine, just a couple of weeks ago, my mum showed me this this post, which was showing that the different people that has been the countries that has been the worst in Corona, and they were all men. And then, but the people that are really good in Corona are all women.
There you go.
So face that.
Excellent. Well, today's show is inspired by the fact that Kamala Harris has become the vice president-elect. Well, not elect. She's going to be a running mate with Joe Biden in the American elections in November. And I want to make a point of saying from the very beginning, I don't want to make this a political session. It's got nothing to do with whether you're to the left or to the right or to the center. This is not about Kamala Harris or her politics at all. This is about the fact that you have a female of color running for office. That's the point I'm talking about. That's why we'll be illustrating about Kamala Harris. And we've got a very special episode, especially made for this show, of the Toilet Paper Diaries coming up a little later, where I'm joined by Ernesto Verdugo, my dear friend, based in Houston, Texas. And we're just going to be looking at the ramifications and the difference it makes having a female running mate in the elections, and especially one of color. So Maya, do you think, and I'll leave you with this question, do you think your opportunities to be successful in your life are going to be better because you're a girl, or would it be better if you were a boy?
I don't think it really matters. For me, I don't really know. I don't know.
Okay, that was a good answer. You don't know, but let's change it slightly. Will you let the fact that you are a female stop you getting anything you want out of life?
No.
Anything, even if it turn around and say girls can't do it. What do you think?
Who says they can't?
Okay, and if people don't like it when you believe in it, what do you tell them to do?
Kiss it.
So welcome back to Speak on Stage TV, all about empowering people to be more successful and finding their perfect life and being able to communicate more effectively, to become speakers, to become leaders, to be able to brand themselves, market themselves, and get them to a higher level. My name is Dave Crane. It's nice to have you here with my gorgeous daughter Maya, who's co-presenting today. Is there anything you want to say, Maya?
Hello.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, right, how old are you?
I'm 9.
Okay, so you haven't turned 10 yet in the time that we've been doing this show. You have started now creating your own YouTube channel, and you have videos that have been watched by how many people before?
My best one was about 15,000K.
15,000 people watching the video. That's been up for how long?
Couple of months.
Couple of months. Okay, and you've got how many subscribers to your YouTube channel?
Now that I looked again, it's 302.
Okay, so 302 subscribers, and she's got over 15,000 people watching her videos. And how many videos would you say you've got online at the moment?
I don't know, it's not 100 yet, but
Yes,
it's around that.
Round about 100.
Around.
Now, here's the key. The world is changing. I've talked about this. I talked about the world becoming more digital, especially after the coronavirus lockdown, and people need to reinvent their business. Kids nowadays, young people nowadays live and breathe digital. So if you're not up to speed and you're not thinking about the way that you could really improve the way that you affect things around you, then now is the time to do it. We're going to be spending this show sharing with you a number of different ideas. We're going to deep dive into ramifications for a global scale if Kamala Harris was to actually be elected as vice president and what that could make. Again, I'm not talking politics, I'm just talking hypothetical. I don't want all the haters and trolls to start saying stuff. If you do have something to say and it is hater or trolly, I will be merciless. I will just cut you off. And why would I do that? Because it's my show. Do what you want on your show. This one's mine. So we're going to look into that. We're also going to look at why women make better leaders than men. And this is a fact. And also look at how you can, 13 steps on how you can really improve your game if you are female, but also if you're male. Here's the thing about what we're going to share today. It's not female orientated only. The things I talk about when it comes to making female leaders is because I want to see more people who are creating success. Because when you see more female leaders, it doesn't do one thing, which is to say that it's a female-only world. It empowers men to believe that they can do better as well, because they see a different side to leadership, of nurturing and understanding than they would have seen under male leadership. And the world's not in a great space right now. Why? I'm not going to say, but it could be because it's run by men. What do you think?
I wasn't gonna say that. I was about to say Corona, but you weren't fair, so I'm just gonna say Corona.
Okay. So with that being said, welcome back to Speak on Stage. I love your thoughts, your comments, and please, by all means, put your stuff in there. I'm co-presenting my 9-year-old today because we can. And also because it's really important that I find out where you're from. Tell me where you're from. And as always, we broadcast live on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Periscope, going into Twitter and Instagram. So all your comments, as you know, if you've been following us for quite some time, and friends of the show will know that I answer all your comments as we go along. Okay. What?
And if any of you want to tell me anything, I'm fine with it because I'm awesome and I'm a bit more awesome than my dad, so I'm gonna make him famous.
She's making me famous. Isn't that great? Every time my daughter even pops up in a picture or in a video, she upstages me. And she doesn't care. Do you care?
No.
There you go.
But even Mommy said that I should make a bit of a YouTube thing to get you more subscribers.
So you're doing me a favor. So should I change it from Speak on Stage to Snow Maya show?
Yes. So if any of you see the comment from Snow Maya, it's from me.
Grab a coffee, strap yourself in, get some biscuits. We're going to do a deep dive into the impact of Kamala Harris if she does become the Vice President of the United States and what that could mean worldwide. We're not choosing partisan sides. We're just hypothetically looking into it. Last night, myself and Ernesto Verdugo, my co-presenter on the Toilet Paper Diaries, sat down. He was in Houston, I was in Dubai, and we just looked at the whole thing. A very special episode of the Toilet Paper Diaries just for you here on Speak on Stage. Hello and welcome to the Toilet Paper Diaries. I'm Dave Crane here in Dubai.
And this is Ernesto Verdugo in Houston.
This is a very special episode because we've just got the news that Kamala Harris has been chosen by Joe Biden as his running mate for the elections that are upcoming in November, which is very exciting for lots of different reasons, which we'll explain. We're going to keep politics out of it. We're just going to look at all the different variations of what it actually means. Now, in order to do this, Ernesto, you've been telling me for many years about Alan Lichtman and the predictions he makes. Do you want to explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, in 2007, I came across this book that is called The Keys to the White House from Alan Lichtman. And I read the book and I said, well, this is just really crazy. So I basically put the whole thing together and the result was that Barack Obama was going to win the election. Then afterwards, in 2012, the whole thing happened again. And he has been predicting the results of the elections for the past 12 or 14 elections. I'm not exactly sure how many they are. He has been incredibly accurate. And just last week, he basically put his prediction for this election. And if you have not seen what the prediction is going to be, I think it's a good idea if you have a look at this video.
We're here because
Alan Lichtman.
Alan Lichtman
is the Nostradamus of presidential elections. He's accurately predicted them for 4 decades. Yes, even that one.
Donald Trump sent me a note. Congrats, Professor. Good call, in his big Sharpie letters.
Now, Alan's ready to tell us who will win in 2020. But we'll come back to that. Alan Lichtman is certain we've been thinking about elections all wrong.
The pollsters and the pundits cover elections as though they were horse races. But history tells us voters are not fooled by the tricks of the campaign. Voters vote pragmatically according to how well the party holding the White House has governed the country.
So, polls are worthless?
They are snapshots in time. None of this, in the end, has any impact whatsoever on the outcome of a presidential election.
He calls it
the keys to the White House.
And like some other politics these days, there's a Russian involved.
In 1981, I met Volodya Kailas-Borak. Volodya turned to me and said, "We are going to collaborate."
By the way, Volodya wasn't a historian or a politician. He was a leading expert in predicting earthquakes.
At this point, I thought the guy was either nuts or KGB.
He wasn't.
We recast American presidential elections as stability, the party holding the White House keeps the White House, and earthquake, the White House party is turned out of power.
So they got to work.
We looked at every presidential election from 1860 to 1980.
What they found were 13 keys, only 2 of which have anything to do with the traits of the candidates. Alan has used the keys to accurately predict every election. First in 1984, calling it 2 years early before anyone even knew who Reagan's contender would be. In 1988, calling it in spring when Bush was trailing Dukakis. Again in 92, 96, and in 2000 when he called it for Al Gore? Hey, Alan!
No, I wasn't wrong. I correctly predicted that Al Gore would win the popular vote. When I first developed the system in 81, you had to go all the way back to 1888 to find a divergence between the popular vote and the Electoral College vote.
So Alan eventually started calling the winner, not just the popular vote, which was useful 16 years later when, well, you know. What do Alan's 13 keys predict for 2020?
And remember, an answer of true always favors the re-election of the White House party. If 6 or more of the keys are false, you get a political earthquake.
Okay, number 1. The White House party gained House seats between midterm elections.
Republicans lost the U.S. House midterms in 2018, so false.
Number 2. There is no primary contest for the White House party.
No Republicans challenged Trump for his renomination, so true.
Number 3, the incumbency key. The sitting president is running for re-election.
Doesn't look like he's stepping down, so true.
4, there's no third-party challenger.
Despite claims by Kanye West to be running, this is a 2-party race.
This is looking pretty good for Trump so far. Number 5, the short-term economy is strong.
The pandemic has pushed the economy into recession. False.
6, long-term economic growth during this presidential term has been as good as the past 2 terms.
The pandemic has caused such negative GDP growth in 2020 that the key has turned false.
Number 7, the White House has made major changes to national policy.
Through his big tax cut, but mostly through his executive orders, Trump has fundamentally changed the policies of the Obama era, so true.
Number 8, there is no social unrest during the term.
There has been considerable social unrest on the streets with enough violence to threaten the social order, so false.
Number 9, the White House is untainted by scandal.
My favorite key. as I predicted, Trump was impeached. Plus, he has plenty of other scandals. So, false.
Number 10. The White House has no major foreign or military failures abroad.
We've had some very difficult moments with Donald Trump, but so far, true.
11. The White House has a major success abroad.
While Trump hasn't had any big, splashy failures, he hasn't had any major successes either. So, false.
12. The incumbent party candidate is charismatic.
Donald Trump is a great showman, but he only appeals to a narrow slice of the American people. And as a result, false.
13. The challenger is uncharismatic.
Biden is a decent, empathetic person, but he's not inspirational or charismatic. So, true.
That means
The keys predict that Trump will lose the White House.
that's Alan Lichtman's prediction. And Alan Lichtman is always right.
Okay, so that video is very explicit and clear. It says that of the 13 keys, Trump was winning and cruising despite everything until the coronavirus, the social unrest, and the economic downturn, long and short. So there's no way that he could bring it back with the short term unless some miracle happened. So that puts it literally in Biden's doorstep. So what do you think about that? Because that means that Kamala Harris coming in would be instantly put into being vice president. What are your thoughts, Nestor?
There's two things. I mean, first of all, what I think is going to be really interesting, because President Trump will be very strong in the debates, and I don't think that Vice President Biden will be able to actually cope with a confrontation with Trump. What do you think of that, Dave?
I agree with you completely. Biden's strong, but he doesn't seem like he's fast. What he brings to the table seems to be just moderate, straight, get it done, no fuss. Trump's a battler, and so he likes to go at it. He likes to bully. He likes to get stuck in there, and he likes to pull people up. So right now he'll have writers putting together lots of things he can get Joe Biden on that are very personal, even though he might not have any substantial reason for saying them. It doesn't matter, they'll stick, because that's the nature of what his way of governing and covering other people really is. I don't think that Biden is able to take him on as a one-to-one, but I do think that Harris could. But it just seems like they're in the wrong position at this moment in time.
That is correct. So I don't think that they will have a debate unless things change radically. But I think, yesterday you were telling me, or 2 days ago, you were mentioning that with his Axios interview that he had, they were basically really making him bite. And apparently they are training Biden to see how he can interact with that. But let's say those are just things that we do not know. What I think is very interesting is just to talk about the what if, to speculate a little bit of what can happen. Let's say that Alan Lichtman is correct. Let's say that Biden is the 46th president of the United States, and as of the 20th of January 2021, he becomes the president. Now, who's the next person on board? It's going to be Kamala Harris. So, which means that right now he's 77. What will happen if he suddenly says after a month or 2 months or 6 months, he says, well, I had enough and I would like to leave the presidency to my vice president. So then she's going to become president. That's one of the things that can happen. The other one, and God forbid something happens to him, she will be taking over. God forbids, and he gets diagnosed with the coronavirus, then Kamala Harris gets over again. So in my eyes, the possibilities of Kamala Harris becoming the 47th president of the United States very soon are very high. What would the implications be for this, for the African American, for the Asian American, and for other people which are, no white people in the world. And that's why I think, Dave, it will be great if you can possibly give us what are your thoughts on that?
On the spot. Well, first of all, I don't think it's an accident that they've chosen Kamala Harris as this potential support for Biden. He knows, and their party are very aware that there's a very good chance those 4 years and the extra stress and strain, despite him being fit and compos mentis and all the rest of it, right now, there's no guarantee that it will happen. So they will have put somebody deliberately in position who they would have thought would be an ideal running mate for him with teeth and claw, but also potentially could be in charge. Now, what that means is a couple of different things. First of all, from a neutral point of view, having a woman in there is amazing. Having a woman president, if you look at the coronavirus responses from all around the world, the best ones by far came from countries that had a woman in charge who was nurturing the population and making choices based on everybody getting to the finishing line in one piece, rather than financially, how can I still get voted back in? That was a decision that was made, which in many cases was smart. I mean, all cases was a smart decision for everybody, because if the country buys into you and they follow your rules of lockdown and masks and not letting people come into the country until it's all clean and all the rest of it, then they're going to vote for you again anyway. And the finances that hit the economy are fantastic. If you look at New Zealand, and New Zealand is one of the few countries that has a complete audit of everything. So everything from the cost of the buildings to the money that comes in to the money that goes out is all balanced on a balance sheet that can be looked at by anybody, including all the citizens, and what their actual investment in their country is worth. And with that in mind, there were no hidden bits. If a government says, I'm going to spend this amount of money on advertising and marketing, they say it and it will be audited at the end of the time. So I think that by having a female in charge, you've got that. By having somebody of color, I think that what it does is, firstly, for everybody who responded to the Black Lives Matter and the clear sigh of this is not right that went across the world about the idea of George Floyd and the racism in the police and so on, that became a huge issue. I think there'll be a lot of people wanting to see somebody of color actually responding to that. Whether or not it's actually a response that actually turns into something, just a figurehead of having somebody in the decision-making process makes a big difference. And the third thing I would say is she's not the ideal candidate for many people because she's been a prosecutor. So what she is a lawmaker. She's not one of these people who says the law's wrong. She's somebody who drives and prosecutes people. I think that will actually appeal to a lot of the more conservative people who don't want to see everything get defunded, the police get defunded, they don't want to see the challenges necessarily going in one direction. I think they want to see some kind of stability, which I think that she kind of brings in with her own politics. She wants change, but she wants the establishment to stay as it is, but change from within. So I think that that's something that she brings to the table that might not exist under anybody else in that position. Sure that he could have got somebody who's more yes, or somebody that was more easy to deal with, and he chose somebody who confronted him on the democratic decision-making process when they're all up there on the podiums. She went for him on about race and other things. So she's not one that's going to lie down and put up with everything, but I think it's going to make a very interesting dynamic. The people of color, I think it's great. I honestly think that they feel the same as they thought when they saw Obama being in that position. But what I didn't understand is the huge backlash against Obama being in that position because he was of color. So does that mean we've got a different world or a different America? Not convinced, but I think it's a step in the right direction for people of color.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because, of course, she is not half black, half white, but she's Black Asian, which of course, I mean, gives it another boost to another demographic, which I think it's interesting. So right now, just to finish this video, let me just say one thing. We would love to hear your comments. Once again, Dave and I took away all the political side of it. We don't want to have any comments of all these people trying to be nasty and offensive. Please do not do any nasty comments or anything like that. But just let us know. I mean, let us know what your thoughts are, because I think this November election season is going to be very interesting. So keep it clean. Make sure that try to be objective in the exact same way as Dave and I be. And we look forward to listening to your comments.
Absolutely.
Dave, thank you very much for this intervention on this news happening here on the Toilet Paper Diaries. We are a little bit off the air, but we had to actually come here to report this interesting news.
It's worth coming back
soon.
together. It's worth getting a band back together once again. Excellent. Love to know your thoughts. Look after yourself. Thank you.
See you.
Thanks for watching the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you watch all the videos over here. There's 2 choices for you. Or, of course, I'm Dave Crane coming from Dubai.
And this is Ernesto Verdugo coming from Houston.
And I think we should send a message. Hold on.
What is this?
Subscribe. Welcome back to Speak on Stage. I'm Dave Crane with my daughter Maya, who's pulling a face for no reason whatsoever.
I came here for the money.
You're not coming here for the money. There is no money. We're doing this for love. We're doing this because you love me as your dad, and we love to share great stuff with everybody who watches every morning.
All right.
She's not convinced. Now, again, I'd love your thoughts on the Kamala Harris piece. It's not about politics. What I find fascinating is because she's half black and half Indian and Asian, therefore, she's Blasian. And my wife is from Singapore. That means that actually, you are Blasian as well. So there we go. All right, so today's show is all about women leaders and why they make great leaders. And I want to share a number of different ideas with you. Specifically, I want to talk about this area of conversation. I don't know if you want to join in with us, Maya, but you're very welcome to. Let's talk about why women make better leaders, and you're joining me here.
Look, it's Captain Marvel.
See, there we go. Captain Marvel, who is a cool superhero.
Yeah. Cooler
Okay.
than you.
Cooler than me. I knew this was a mistake. Okay, let's go through why women, in my opinion, make better leaders. First of all, they have more empathy, which means that they understand the feelings of what's going on amongst people more than your average person. You're just going to be annoying all the way through. I knew this was a mistake.
I love this.
I knew this was a mistake. I know you like playing with your hair on TV. All right, calm down.
Cool.
Secondly, they really enjoy and they understand nurturing in a way that guys don't. So, for instance, my wife Aziza physically feels pain when Maya isn't being looked after properly. If she's hungry or she's upset, it really drives a nail into her heart. And she feels it in a way that mothers do. Guys don't have this. As much as they care about their daughters the same amount, we don't have that same feeling. And there's an explanation for exactly why this comes about. When you are, nature has us having certain feelings over certain parts of our life. So for instance, when you start dating somebody, in order for nature to force you to want to be with that person to procreate, you start becoming obsessive about them when you really like them. So for instance, if you had an argument, you start checking your texts all the time to make sure that they're saying the right thing. Are they still with me? Are they against me? What's going on? That obsessive behavior changes when you settle down. So you stay in love, but you don't feel obsessive about them in the same way. Maybe you do get jealous every now and again, but pretty much it's a different relationship, like a friendship with love that's put together. What happens is that same obsessiveness actually passes on to mothers and children. They have that same relationship where the mother is obsessed with just checking on the kid all the time. The dads don't have that. I wouldn't know Maya was hungry until I walked into her room and saw empty packets of chocolate chip cookies around her, and I would know then that you had been hungry.
Daddy,
It's true.
you took my cookies.
I didn't
away.
take your cookies.
No, where is it? You finished the packet. Look at this. You finished my cookie packet.
That's your packet. Okay, number two.
You ate it.
Number three, making better managers as well, because studies have shown that people who are working under male managers, people who are working under female managers, have experienced that they get better, sounds strange to say service, but their leadership is better as a female. Their way of nurturing, understanding, and leading is all about getting the whole team to move forward, not about I'm heading in this direction, and if you're not joining me, then you're out. Now, I'm not saying all men feel like that. That's certainly not the case, but it has been shown, and you should Google it, studies by some of the biggest organizations, that women do come out top when it comes to who's been a better manager of a team. Number 4, role models for men as well. I've mentioned this before. When you see a woman in charge, not only does she show you a different way of leading, but she also shows you how she can lead. And that means that men can see how to do it alternatively. Men on their own tend to be just fighting some kind of bloke's battle. Now, I'm not saying we don't do it properly. I don't say that we don't have other levels in it, but they act differently when there's women involved in it. And when you've got women leaders, they change the entire game. So those role models also tell us how to do stuff differently. Better communicators, that sounds like a strange thing to say, but the fact is that women are able to understand something like, men can say about 2,000 words a day. This has been a study that was shown. Women can say about 7,000 words a day. Does that mean that they say more words? Sometimes, but the truth is they understand things on a different level. So body language, moving your hair, pouting your lips, looking at somebody in a funny way, those are all real signs of communication that men don't appreciate or get. They honestly don't. So I'll give you a classic example. Now, my wife, Aziza, beautiful, she never gets jealous. But imagine a situation where you go to a works event and you're talking to a female colleague and you're chatting away, then go back to your wife. My wife's not like this at all. And the wife says to you, "Who was that?" I said, "Well, it's my colleague from work." "So what's been going on with you two?" "Well, nothing, we're just colleagues." Why do you say that?" "She was all over you." "What do you mean she was all over me?" "Well, she did this." And she kept touching her hair. And at one point, she went like this. It's quite obvious she wants you. Now, guys, I promise you, ladies, guys don't get that. They are stupid. It's not that they're stupid. We just don't pick up on all these different levels of communication. That's why picking up those little nuances, little bits here and there are really important. Okay? Number 6, what do you say? Say that's
I
true?
really thought that you were a public speaker, so you don't really understand communication?
Well, I do, but that's because I do that for a living.
Oh, now I understand. Now you can continue.
Thank you. So number 6 is being better at nuance in drama. Now, let me explain. Generally, soap operas are not watched as much by guys as they are by girls. Why is that? Because we don't know what's going on. We get the script, but we don't see why it's so important. Similarly, that goes back to... Can you just stop that? Just checking to see how big the box is.
I'm trying to point at Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she's not looking. Similarly, when it comes to gossip and chatting, guys don't get it. They don't do it. Why? Because different parts of your brain light up when you're dealing with these things. Now, as a result of that, men don't understand it. It's not because they're necessarily stupid. It's we tend to focus on solutions, getting things done. We don't break down the different areas of it unless it's to get an end result. So, for instance, when I talk to my wife, we've worked it out. We don't actually, when I come back from work or she comes back from work and we're chatting, and she'll say to me, something happened today. So she'll start telling me, and I'll say to her, "Do you want me to give an answer?" And she'll say no. She doesn't want an answer. She just wants me to pay attention to the overall experience and be there and understand where she's coming from. Same thing for me when I'm talking to her. I will look for a solution. I will want an end conclusion. She doesn't think like that. She's got so many different elements of spinning plates going on. That's a much bigger thing. Okay, wider scope of vision. Let me explain this. Women have what is called a panoramic view in their eyes. Guys have a scope, a zoom lens. This sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And this is going back to the caveman days where we would be hunting for, I don't know, antelopes or bears or whatever, would focus on that. Women would be in the cave looking after the family. I'm not being sexist, this is just the truth. Go back to your history. And with that, they'd have to be able to look at the different parts of the cave from the cave mouth and see the difference between the different brown of the ground, the brown of a bear, the bark of a tree that might be brown, or a mountain that's brown. They need to see the different colors. They need to see a wide view as protection. We don't get that. So what does that mean in reality? Well, very simply, we can't see color the same way also. So when we're getting dressed to go out, my wife might say to me, "You're not wearing those blue shoes with that blue jacket." I'll say, "Well, why? They're both blue." "No, they're not. They're different blue. It doesn't match." I'm going, "It's blue." The reason that we don't wear makeup in public too often.
Because men look ugly in makeup.
I look beautiful, but let's not go there.
Oh, but Daddy, So
Let's
are
not
you
go
saying
there.
that men are colorful?
Let's not go there.
Okay.
So anyway, the point is that's why women, it's very important to be able to wear makeup and very important to be able to understand how it gets layered on. Men generally, not completely, but generally have no idea because of the vision and the different levels of color that's involved in it. Okay, I mentioned before about solutions driven. Guys are solutions driven. We just need to get things worked out. That's it, and then move on. That's why we become very focused on just getting results as opposed to the levels of damage that might be done on the way there. And number 9, and this is a generalization, the world is generally run by males, and it has been for most of my life. And right now, the coronavirus that's locking places down and the terrible results of countries that have chosen not to deal with it properly, unlike the female leaders. Look at Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand. Look at Angela
Thailand.
Merkel in Thailand as well. Angela Merkel in Germany, and many of the female leaders. They have nurtured their countries. They've had lockdowns, they've decided to bail people out, and they've made economic decisions as well as personal ones, but it's been based on the fact that we can move forward longer and better if everybody gets across the finishing line. That's why I show Captain Marvel. It's not because I've got a thing about Captain Marvel, I just think as the person who kicked Thanos' hiney, she's very... What are you doing?
I'm trying to point at Captain Marvel.
I think given the choice, you see your hands disappeared, given the choice, there's 3 people here.
Yeah.
There's you,
Yeah.
there's me, and Captain Marvel. People might be able to work out which one of the 3 of us is Captain Marvel on their own. Do you think?
I mean, sure.
Okay. Next up, let's look at the way that you can empower yourself in the workplace to be more successful. Is that okay, Maya?
Okay.
Right then, and unfortunately for this actual section, Maya's face is obscured, which is probably a good thing. If you, well, not for long. There we go. I thought I'd won the lottery, but my gorgeous daughter comes back and she's in my face, which is not a problem because I love you to bits. All right, 13 ways to teach yourself to be more confident. I love your comments, by the way, and I will reply to them as much as I possibly can, as always. And please feel free to share this with everybody. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're connected to me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on Twitter and Periscope, you'll get these alerts faster than everybody else. And when we do special shows like we do on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you get access to them before anybody else does, because there's content that goes there that doesn't go anywhere else. Okay, getting back to the matter at hand. 13 ways to make yourself more confident. And this is aimed at women, but it is actually applicable to anybody. And when I say men and women, I also mean LGBTQ. I'm not picking on anybody or ignoring anybody, and I mean all inclusive. People will say to me, Dave, why have you done a show all about women? What do you know? Oh, I don't know that much, and I could never know what it's like, but I do think it's important to use your platform to help as many people as possible, and I do seriously believe that women make better leaders. That's just a thing. Okay, number 1, put yourself in their place. Put your thoughts in the place of the people that you want to connect with, and then you'll end up with getting a better result of it. Number 2, and I'll go through them quite rapidly, begin at the end. So work out what it is that you want to get as an end result, and then work towards that. Don't start off where you are right now and hope things get better. So setting your goals and setting up systems is always important. Start with gratitude, number 3. The more that you appreciate life, the more you appreciate others, and the more you start off with a positive frame of mind, the more people will want to gravitate towards you, they'll appreciate you, and more than that, they'll want to help you. Number 4, take a daily step outside your comfort zone. Doesn't matter what you do for a living. Doesn't matter how much it has an impact on you personally. You should always be prepared to say, what if I didn't have this? Or what if I did something different from what I'm doing right now? That's how success happens. And that's also how people are able to recover faster from a coronavirus, because they're used to thinking, what if something terrible happened? They mentally prepare for that eventuality. And so when it does come, if it does come, they're going, okay, good job, I had things in mind. Number 5, remember, dogs don't chase parked cars. What does that mean? I'm not really sure. What does that mean?
I don't know. You're
Okay.
the smart one here.
Clearly not. What it means is dogs don't chase parked cars because they know there's no point. They're not moving. Don't chase an argument that's not going to get you anywhere. Only fight battles you know that you can win. That way, you'll always look like you're successful, and you never have to worry about people criticizing and picking on you because you didn't get what you wanted out of it, and they don't think much of you either. Okay, number 6, get ready to bounce back. Whatever happens, whatever challenges you get, they're only stumbling blocks on your way along. Do not take it personally, or take it personally enough to just put it in perspective and move on. If there's no such thing as failure, there's only getting results that you didn't like, and then working out what you should have done and doing that next time. Number 7, find a mentor. Hey, you want to become a very successful person in speaking, you want to be better at business, you want to push your brand, you want to get out there to find how you can be more successful. Don't have to do it on your own. It's hard work, and it takes you a very long time, and time is the most important currency, bar none. What you need to have is somebody who's been there, done that, and can just say to you, don't do it that way, do it this way. Maya's got a ton of subscribers on her Snow Maya channel on YouTube. She also is creating incredible videos, and it's not just because she's got me as a dad. In fact, it's got nothing to do with that. The way that we worked with Maya from a very early age was very simple. We just empowered her to go off and do her stuff. That's kind of important as well. So make sure that when it comes to you doing that, you do the same kind of thing. Empower your kids all the time. And empower yourself. Get a mentor who will just cut through those things much faster. Number 7, choose your companions wisely. When it comes to being involved with people that you work with, make sure those people have your back. If they don't, then don't play with them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have lots of associates. I know a ton of people, but the actual people who I trust and I act without question because I know that they're saying things for my benefit and not theirs are very small numbers. And you probably feel the same way too. Okay, number 9, do your homework. Before you get into any event, before you do anything that's a challenge, make sure you understand all the different things that are going around. Think about it from an empathy point of view. Think about it from an emotional intelligence point of view. What are the consequences of the thinking and the actions that you're about to take? Do you think that the odds are you'll get the result you need, or is that just maybe an opportunity, but the odds are you won't get it? Work out those calculations. They're really important. And if you don't feel it's the right time to act, don't take it. Get plenty of rest and exercise, and that's challenging most times. I think in the pandemic and a lockdown, it's probably easier than ever before just to be able to work out what your timings are. You could sleep during the night, sleep during the day, sleep tea time, whatever it is. You have better opportunities to map things out because there's no traffic, no transport, and not sitting around in people's waiting rooms drinking coffee, reading rubbishy magazines, or checking your Facebook and thinking I should be somewhere else. So you can get plenty of rest, you can get plenty of exercise, and if you don't do that, you end up like this. Too many M&Ms, or...
I want one.
Number 11, breathe. Sounds ridiculous, but breathing is such an important part of what you do and your makeup. They'll finish them all off.
Good one.
And one? Open? Okay, stop opening. Breathing and the Art of Living is an incredible organization from India, but they're everywhere around the world. There's something like 45 million people who all participate in the importance of understanding how breathing effectively, filling your brain with oxygen, relaxation, stress techniques, and also linking it with meditation can really change the way that you think, the way that you act, and the prospects for you in your business and success in the future. Number 12, be willing to fake it. Don't be scared to sometimes turn around and say, I've done it, even if you haven't got exactly the results that you want. Fake it until you make it is not an accidental way of doing it. The way I would see it is when you are moving forward, if you turned around to yourself and said, I'm going to be a millionaire, your brain goes, yeah, sure you are. But if you act as if you are already a millionaire, your brain goes, okay, well, let's find what else is missing. And it starts building up this world around you that's noticing the things that you need to get to where you have to be. I'm not saying specifically millionaire. You can put this for any task on your vision board. And number 13, don't forget to ask for help. You don't have to do this alone. Time is money, money is energy, and you never get it back again. So ask people to help you. There are lots of people. You can always contact me at any time. You go to thedavecrane.com. All my contact details are there. On any subject, let me know. If I can help you, I will help you. And if I can mentor you and coach you and help you to get to where you need to be as a speaker, then that's also part of a deal as well. So Maya will be in the next picture, I hope, as she joins us.
I thought I was here for a reason.
You are here for a reason. You steal my stuff. You're watching Speak on Stage. Well, it's been great having you here on Speak on Stage. My daughter Maya, say hello.
Hello.
And how old are you?
I'm 9. I already been through this, Daddy.
I know, but they forget because they're old like me. What's your YouTube channel called?
Snow Maya.
Okay, so you can always check the Snow Maya, and we haven't got any gacha videos, but I may show one in the future of one of the incredible videos that she creates that gets 15,000 people watching it and communicating with her all the time. And this is a world that you need to be thinking about. If there's a thing called reverse mentoring, and reverse mentoring means that you might not be able to learn what you need to learn about the new digital age unless you go to a younger person and they will show you how they do it. My daughter helped me set up a show.
I did.
She was the one who worked out that it could all be done on a PowerPoint, on an iPad, and she set up all the buttons, gave them all colours, and made it much easier. She's 9. Could I have done it on my own? Maybe, but she just lives and breathes this. Bop, 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 bop. Just done. Now, as always, we give you the opportunity to learn to be bigger and better at what you do. I train people, I coach people all around the world with my Industry Icon program. We went through it in some depth yesterday, and with this, you're able to learn how you can be more effective and successful as a speaker and communicator. We are able to work out the right kind of direction for you. We're able to work out as well what it would take for you to be more effective in your job, in your career, and position you so you could be really like one of the big stars. If you're wondering what that means, all you have to do is contact me. I'll happily do a 15-minute chat with you, and we can see how we could move forward together. So if you look at many of the big stars and decision makers in your industry, and you think, why are they there and I'm not? Well, that's what the Industry Icon program is all about. It's about empowering you to get you to where you truly want to be. And if you're wondering what that could be, well, just contact me directly at thedavecrane.com and let's work it out together. So it's just about coming to the end of the show. Maya, it's been a pleasure having you here. Did you enjoy it?
I mean, it has my face on it, so sure. Yeah.
What did you enjoy most about being on a live show like this?
I just think it's pretty cool.
Would you like your own show?
In a bit, not really right now.
That's the correct answer because you're not going to get one. Maya will be back with me on future episodes, and when people say to me about the challenge of being stuck in lockdown, here's the thing. In lockdown, I've had the chance to spend more time with my gorgeous daughter, my beautiful wife, and my dogs. And it has been difficult. We haven't really had a chance to see anybody. For you, more than anything, you chat to your friends on Zoom, but it's not the same, is it?
No, but I just remembered it like a couple of weeks ago when me and Mommy annoyed you so much, and the dogs annoyed you so much that you said that you regretted saying that you liked all of us together.
Yes, some days it's a little bit more challenging than others, but thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome, peeps.
It's life in lockdown. This is Speak on Stage. I'm going to leave you with a music video all about the way I feel, and today's episode is all about empowering and understanding why women make better leaders. I also am not trying to alienate guys. I'm also not talking about people of color by accident. I want everyone to find the level playing field that they deserve, and maybe one day that will happen. But one thing I can tell you is, as an older person in the world we're in right now, if we don't design a world that is inclusive and getting everybody in, these guys will come in, they'll take over, they'll throw everything out that we thought was sacred, and they'll design it the way that they want. So maybe having more people in the workplace, maybe learning from these guys is a way that we can all move forward. With that, Maya, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Be a high five. And a kiss.
You know, all throughout the show, we've been giving high fives and high fives.
What about it?
I just wanted to say it. No reason.
Look after yourself. See you same time tomorrow. Maya, shut up. Love you. And love you too.
Bye.
See you tomorrow and Speak on Stage. What's your superpower? What is it you can switch on and off to allow you to be a better person and to help change and save the world? I've come to understand my own mortality over the last few years. I'm a little overweight. I'm not as funny as I thought I was. My jokes sometimes are a little bit rude, a little bit offensive. I don't understand as much as I thought I knew about other races. other religions, other people's politics, or other people of different sex. I try my very best to come to terms with where I should be and what I can do, but sometimes things just pass over my head and I have no idea how they got there. Every day I define and try and learn to be better, and I understand that I dropped the ball. I understand I didn't make it to all the different places I wanted to do, and all the things I wanted to be, and all the things I wanted to achieve. But I am a dad, and I am a husband, and I am a friend, and I am trying to change. And I know it's going to get hard. I know it's going to get more difficult. And I am outside of my comfort zone, but I promise you one thing, and this one thing I want to give to you as a gift. I'm not going to stop pushing to be a better man. And yes, it hurts, and I make a fool of myself. And some days I'm left there with the whole world watching and going, why would he do that? But you know what? What if it had worked out to be fine? What if it had worked out to be special? What if the results that I got was actually what I wanted to be? What if I had actually grown wings and learned to fly? Where would that have left me? And what lesson would that leave you? Be the best that you can be. The world is changing. It wants to see who you can be. And one day, when it's all over, we'll stop the stopwatch and we'll say, how did you get on? When that happens, then you can rest. Until then, come on, let's do this.